Respected seniors and dear friends, my talking on thoracic paravertebral block. If we talk about history, it is a century-old technique. It was invented by Hugo Salim in 1905, but it disappeared from the practice because fear of complications, and it was initially used for muscle relaxation, and after invention of muscle relaxation, it disappeared from the practice. But it re-emerged in the practice in 1979, and it is widely used nowadays. It is a technique of injecting local anesthetic in the vicinity of thoracic spinal nerves emerging from the intervertebral foramen. And the result is unilateral epidural anesthesia. So it blocks the one side only, and it gives unilateral epidural anesthesia. So there will be less hemodynamic changes, and it is safer than thoracic epidural. If we talk about anatomy, this is thoracic paravertebral space. It is a wedge-shaped space. It is formed by anterolaterally by pleura, posteriorly by the superior costotransverse ligament, and medially by the body of vertebra, intervertebral disc and intervertebral foramen. Here you can see it is anteriorly formed by pleura. This is superior costotransverse ligament, and this is the space. So what you have to do is inject the local anesthetic in this area, and you will find the thoracic paravertebral block. So when you inject the local anesthetic, it will spread in this area. Here you can see blue shaded area. This is the area of this local anesthetic spread. When you inject the local anesthetic in thoracic paravertebral space, it will spread medially towards the epidural space. It will spread laterally in the intercostal space, and it will go cranially and caudally. So by giving injection at one level, it will block 3 to 4 levels, but it does not happen always. Sometimes drug remains at the one level, so it is better to give multiple injection in this block. So indication for block is thoracic surgery like thoracotomy, video-assisted thoracoscopy, minimally invasive cardiac surgery, abdominal surgery like hernias, open cholecystectomy. It is widely used in breast surgery, non-surgical management like post-herpetic neuralgia, post-thoracotomy chronic pain, and fracture rates. Technique, it is a very easy block. What you have to do is palpate the C7 spinous process, and it is very easy to palpate. Then mark the level you want to block. This is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Then you have to mark a point 2.5 centimeter lateral to this point. This is the point of needle entry. You have to enter the needle perpendicular to the skin, and you will hit the transverse process. After hitting the transverse process, you have to mark where you hit the transverse process. Then withdraw the needle up to skin, redirect the needle cranially or caudally. Then go beyond transverse process. You should not go beyond 1 to 1.5 centimeter beyond transverse process. Sometimes you feel a pop and loss of resistance, but it is not always. If you don't feel that LOR, then you should inject at 1.5 centimeter. You have to inject 5 to 6 ml per level. For surgeries like breast surgery, you have to block T1 to T6. For open cholecystectomy, you have to block T6 to T9. For nephrectomy, you have to block T8 to T11, like that. So according to that level, you have to give the block. Here you can see this is the spinous process, and it is parallel to the transverse process of lower vertebra. So if you are feeling spinous process of T1, it is parallel to the transverse process of T2. So if you want to block T2, you have to go at parallel to the spinous process of T1. Here is the technique as I described. You have to first hit the transverse process, redirect the needle, and you will enter in the thoracic paravertebral space. These are the dermatomes. You have to block the, give the block according to level you want to block. This is the video showing LOR thoracic paravertebral block. Here I have marked the spinous process. These are the 2.5 centimeter lateral to the spinous process. Here I am hitting the transverse process at 3 centimeter and I am redirecting the needle. So at 4 centimeter I will feel the loss of resistance. I will start injecting the drug, and here you can see on the ultrasound, this is rib, this is pleura, this is superior costotransverse ligament, and drug is spreading in the right plane. So you can give this block very well with LOR technique. Some complications are there like pneumothorax. It happens in 0.5 to 1%, but if you attach the syringe to needle, there are less chances of pneumothorax. But because what happens when you puncture the pleura and your needle end is open, then it will suck the air and there are higher chances of pneumothorax. In other blocks like lumbar plexus and sacral plexus, Shiv sir will tell you have to open, keep the needle end open to see, watch for the CSF or blood. But here you have to attach the syringe, so there will be reduced chance of pneumothorax. Epidural and intrathecal spread is observed if you direct the needle medially. So you have to go perpendicular to the skin. Here you can see we have put a catheter in a patient with multiple rib fracture. Here is the catheter and drug is spreading medially towards the epidural space. So in most cases, some of the drug goes medially towards the epidural space, but amount is low, so there will be unilateral block. There are chances of bleeding, infection, and local anesthetic toxicity. There are some contraindications like local infection, sepsis, patient refusal, local anesthetic allergy, and tumor in the paravertebral space. Some relative contraindications like sternotomy, midline laparotomy, but I can say you can give bilateral block if you want to give thoracic paravertebral block in sternotomy and midline laparotomy. Severe respiratory disease, thoracic spine deformity, and ipsilateral diaphragmatic paralysis are other relative contraindications. Some clinical pulse. You have to always mark with marker pain. Even if you are giving with ultrasound, always do marking, because it is better to do marking. Otherwise, what will happen? You will hit the rib and you will enter the space, and there are higher chances of pneumothorax. Use needle with depth marking, so you can precisely know where you hit the transverse process, and you should not go beyond 1.5 centimeter beyond that point. Depth of transverse process varies at different thoracic level. At mid-thoracic level, it is more superficial, and if you go upward to cranially or caudally, it is deeper. So according to the level of the block, thoracic depth of the transverse process varies. Don't advance needle 1.5 centimeter beyond contact point with transverse process. If you go beyond that, there are higher chances of pneumothorax. Another point is avoid directing needle medially. Otherwise, what will happen? You will end up giving epidural or subarachnoid injection. Inject saline to expand the space for catheter. If you want to put a catheter, always inject some saline and create some space for putting a catheter. Otherwise, there will be a high resistance and you will not able to pass the catheter. If it is a very easiest passage of catheter, then you are in intrapleural space. So if your catheter is going very easily, then you are in pleura, not in paravertebral space. There is always some resistance in paravertebral space. Always attach a syringe with needle while locating the space. As I said, chances of pneumothorax are reduced if you attach syringe with the needle. Use multiple injection technique, because studies shows that success rate of this block is higher with single injection, multiple injection rather than giving single injection. There is another important study which shows that thoracic paravertebral block is associated with reduced recurrence of breast malignancy. How? Because anesthesia and opioids, it impairs the cellular and humoral immune response. So if you give thoracic paravertebral block, you will require less opioids and less anesthesia. So there are less chances of breast malignancy recurrence. And there is a third stage trial is going on, and the results are positive. Here you can see in this chart depth of the space is minimum at mid-level, while if you go at T1 or at T11 and T12, the depth of the space is more. Thank you.
Describing is a classical parietal block, where you go 2.5 centimeters from the spine. But the other guys who actually go slightly more lateral, and in those cases actually they are actually giving a kind of your intercostal block. And then this has been studied when you inject dye at the level which Hetal was saying, then you can actually see a vertical spread. So you can, with a single injection, see spread going over quite a few segments. But if you actually go a little bit more lateral, then you're in intercostal space. And because you don't know how accurate you are, because you're not going to do dye studies for every case, then giving multiple level blocks makes sense. And no doubt it actually is showing better results than single shot. But with the ultrasound, you can actually see the spread. So that's one of the advantages. But if you're doing the loss of resistance technique, multiple level blocks are always a good idea. You told you, like, can use catheter.
You can use catheter.
It will not spread.
Yeah, that's it. If your actually goes slightly lateral, then the catheter goes into the intercostal space. So if you're doing for a rib fracture, maybe it will be working fine. But if you're doing for a surgery, you won't. But you can study, you can always give dye through the catheter and see if it is not working.
Multiple infections, it is not.
If it is effective, you're doing that, you know that you're going at 2.5 centimeters from the your spine, and your spread is vertical, then it is fine, it will work. But then you can always do multiple level blocks for rib fractures as well. Yes.
Some people are studies for multiple rib fractures. They are putting in the subcu space the catheter at the level of the fracture, and the continuous infusion of the local. It's in the pipeline for this study. Some people are using. People are using in the subcu.
Yeah, we already described on the group we have described long back about that. That is actually for rib fractures. Okay. That is if you actually inject local anesthetic in the cutaneous space, but you have to be at the level of the rib fractures, and that actually works equally well. This has been described in the literature long time back, and people have been using it.
There were many inquiries about purchasing TAS t-shirt. It is available outside. Those who want to purchase it can purchase it. It is available at 600 rupees per t-shirt.
And thank you, Hetal, for getting 4 CME credits for the meeting. So all of you get 4 CME credits.